For this on-demand webinar for the Digital Good Network's launch of the Digital Good Research Fund, Blueprints for a Good Digital Society. My name is Ros Williams, and I'm an Associate Director of the ESRC Digital Good Network. I work in the area of equity, diversity and inclusion in relation to the network as the Equities Challenge Lead, and I also focus on capacity building. I'm based at the University of Sheffield. Thank you ever so much for watching this webinar today. If you're watching, it probably means that you're interested in our network, but also the call that we are launching today. It's worth, first of all, telling you a little bit about the ESRC Digital Good Network. We have lots of different materials on our website where you can learn more about what we do as a network and collectively what it is we're trying to achieve through schemes like the Digital Good Research Fund. But predominantly, we're focused on building a research community that's focused around a key problematic, which is what does a good digital society look like, but also how is it that we're going to get there? And through that, we try to bring different disciplines together and different sectors together. And the main vehicles of this are to support people through their work, whether that's in interdisciplinary researches, internships and fellowships, or also the kinds of training that we provide, which includes our annual PhD summer school. Perhaps some who've attended that summer school are listening to this on-demand webinar now. We also host events, which you can learn more about and follow on our website. And through all of this, we try to engage policy, industry, and others in our work to try and bring about a sort of a gear shift in how we talk about the idea of a good digital society, but also how it is that we bring one into being. As you may know, if you follow our Digital Good Network at all, we work around these three key pillars, these societal challenges of equity, sustainability and resilience. I shan't go into detail about what we mean by each of those at this very moment, but you can look on our website to learn more about those. And they will become relevant later on in this webinar when I'll mention how important it is that applicants engage with these in any activity that they propose to do as part of their application to Digital Good Research Fund Round 4. We also, as you may know, are involved in the production of what we're calling the Digital Good Index, which is a kind of a set of different mechanisms that we believe can be used to evaluate whether digital technologies can have good societal outcomes and how they might contribute to a good digital society. This is a set of mechanisms that are in the making at the moment. You can learn more about that on our website. And the reason that we raise this is because we feel that Digital Good Research Fund 4 is actually a key component of thinking about the Digital Good Index as it's in the making now. And the work that those who are funded through this call undertake will be directly instructive in the shape of the index moving forward. And indeed, that follows the pattern that we've gone through over the past few years, which is that the findings and outcomes of all of the research, the fellowships and internships that we fund potentially can feed into the index. And this fourth round of the Digital Good Research Fund is absolutely no different at all. We really hope that there's some traffic between the work that we fund and the index as it's in the making. So please do learn more about that on the relevant web pages on our website. So, as you may know, the Digital Good Research Fund has actually been running for a few years now. We've already had 3 different calls. The first one was defining the digital good. The second was in evaluating the digital good, and the third in building the digital good. So we've had these thematic areas of focus so far. Really, with this fourth and final call, what we're trying to do is synthesize that work and other work towards the idea of blueprints for a good digital society in our final call. So blueprints for a good digital society is an invitation for applications for funding from individuals or small teams, as you can see more about the eligibility criteria on our website, to produce what we're describing as a blueprint and various documents that I'll tell you more about what a particular aspect of social life or societal institution looks like in a good digital society and how we achieve it. It might be helpful for you in your thinking to think about this in relation to the statement that we use as a sort of as a prompt for how we want people to frame these applications. So in a good digital society, this particular aspect of social life or societal institution is, and how are we going to get there, right? So think about this as a prompt for how you sort of frame your call. By blueprint, we mean that a detailed plan or an outline for achieving a future goal is something that we want you to kind of frame the activity of this fourth call around. And blueprint is something that obviously is quite a flexible term when we think about it. That's deliberate. We hope that, as I'll explain shortly, we can cohort our different colleagues together who apply for this fund, and together we can think through what the shape of this blueprint might look like in practice. So you will be working with other people who are funded, and together, hopefully, you can help to be in conversation with one another about what your individual blueprints look like. And I can explain more about that shortly. By a specific aspect of social life or societal institution, again, this is meant to be deliberately broad. By this, we mean a particular defined area or a component of how we live, how we interact, how we organise ourselves socially. And we're referring here to a particular slice, if you like, or an element of the broader social world. We're not thinking here about society as a whole. So try and cut this up into manageable chunks, if you like. And as you'll see from our website, yes, indeed, platforms or the digital technologies are potentially those kinds of societal institutions that we work within. So we consider those as things to be included as well. And I'll jump to some examples of what it is we might actually mean now as we move into the next slide. So what is it that we're looking for? We're inviting proposals that identify the characteristics of specific elements of social life or societal institutions in a good society, in a good digital society, and how it is we achieve them. And that how we achieve them is obviously integral to this idea of blueprint. So examples of what we're referring to are listed on the website. They're listed again here. This is not meant to be exhaustive. It's hopefully supposed to be indicative of the kind of things that we anticipate filling that first gap in the prompt that I provided in an earlier slide. So it could be all number of different things. And it might be that depending upon your discipline and your own social and personal perspective, the kinds of things you bring to the table as ideas for interrogation are quite different from others. And we're keen to see how different people take this prompt and develop their applications around it. So it's deliberately broad in this sense. Now, I think it's important to flag that each of our successful applicants will be expected to provide at least two things. And those two things are what we're describing as a report between 8,000 and 10,000 words, so a written document predominantly, but also a briefing document which will be targeted at the audiences that you identify as being sort of the key audiences of the work. And you'll be supported by our communications engagement and impact officer, Dee Goddard, in that second element. And this all means that in total, we expect the main activity here that we're going to fund to be desk-based authorship. We're looking for projects that address at least one of our earlier mentioned three key societal challenges, so equity, sustainability, and resilience. And we're particularly interested in applications that can cut across all of these different aspects as well. We're also keen that applicants think about how, as I mentioned earlier, they can be brought into conversation with the development of the Digital Good Index. And we're also really, really keen, and this is an absolute must, that you engage with or build upon or advance previous research undertaken within the Digital Good Network. So we'll look for evidence of your engagement with the research that we have supported and undertaken and the outputs that have been produced through the Digital Good Network in your application. So I did mention the three prior calls to the Digital Good Research Fund, the information of those who we have funded through that, and all of the activity that they've gotten up to through that work is all listed on the Digital Good Network website. We also have lots of core team research that we fund as well. You can learn more about that on our website. So we're really keen that you use all of this, the insights derived through those existing investments as the foundation for this kind of the synthesis work that you would do in the fourth round of the Digital Good Research Fund. We also expect, as ever, that you align any activity that you undertake with our priorities and values, which you can learn more about on our website. And you'll see moments in the application form where you can speak to each of these different things. As I mentioned earlier, we're really keen that these blueprints are all sort of coherent with one another. So they're in conversation with one another, not only in how they are structured and how you approach these things, but also that there is movement between the different researchers that we fund through this project. So to ensure that coherence, we're really keen to have a kind of a cohorting of our groups, of our group of funded scholars who are undertaking this work through the Digital Good Research Fund Round 4. So one of the things we'll be doing is assigning somebody from the core team to ensure that your project aligns with the broader network's aims, objectives and principles, but also to ensure that the 3 societal challenges are appropriately surfaced or considered in the work that you undertake. And we expect you to have 2 meetings online with your assigned team member during that funded period. But as I mentioned, to ensure that sort of cohort effect, we will have 2 cohort meetings during the funded period as well. One of those will be a meeting that's online, and the other will be a meeting in Sheffield if there are accessibility reasons why you might not be able to attend that meeting in Sheffield. Then as you'll be able to see on the webpage that there are kind of the alternative possibilities available. So we don't want to preclude anybody from involvement because they can't attend that meeting. In terms of the details for funding, as you'll see, we've just over £200,000 available for this full call, and we expect to fund multiple projects through the call. The maximum that we will fund for an individual is £15,000, but that would be £12,000 at the full economic costing. Further information about that will be on the website for the Digital Good Network as well. And we, of course, as part of that full economic costing, as ever, expect lead institutions, so your university, to make up the 20% that remains. There is a deadline of February for you to observe to make sure that you get in good time for that. And there is a whole sequence of support available as well for folks who, if you want to learn more about the projects. We'll have a live Q&A in January. You can always, of course, email us for more specific information related to the call if you need to at info@digitalgood.net. There are, as ever, the full terms and conditions of the award published, so if you have any concerns about eligibility, but also the sort of the whether this would be permissible with your own institution, it's worth talking to your research office in relation to the full T&Cs that are available there. And as ever, do sign up to our mailing list to learn more about us as a network. So hopefully that's a helpful overview of this exciting and final round of the Digital Good Research Fund. We're really looking forward to receiving lots of applications of high quality, and we're really excited to work with the cohort for DGRF Round 4 Blueprints for a Good Digital Society. So thanks ever so much for listening, and best of luck with your application.